Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one that will stay with you long after the video ends. It's emotional, shocking, and deeply human. This is the story of a millionaire who believed his daughter was blind, but the maid discovered a truth no one was prepared for. The rain fell softly against the tall glass windows of the mansion, blurring the city lights outside. Inside, everything was silent, almost painfully quiet. The kind of quiet that comes not from peace, but from loneliness. Arman Khan sat alone in his study, a crystal glass of untouched water resting on the desk in front of him. He was one of the wealthiest men in the city, a self-made millionaire whose name commanded respect in boardrooms and fear among competitors. Yet at that moment, none of it mattered. His eyes were fixed on a framed photograph resting near his hand. It was a picture of a little girl, no older than 6, with soft curls and a shy smile. His daughter Zara. Arman sighed, running a hand through his graying hair. "I tried everything," he muttered to the empty room. "Doctors from London, specialists from Germany, the best hospitals money could buy. The verdict had always been the same. Zara was blind, permanently blind." He remembered the day they told him, the sterile smell of the hospital room, the doctor's careful tone, the words that shattered his world. "I'm sorry, Mr. Khan, the damage is irreversible." His wife had cried that day, cried until her voice broke. But Arman hadn't cried. He had gone quiet, too quiet. From that moment on, something inside him hardened. He provided everything for Zara: tutors, therapists, special schools, luxury toys designed for visually impaired children. But emotionally, he pulled away. Every time he looked at her, all he could see was what she had lost, and what he couldn't fix. Zara lived in a world of darkness. Or so he believed. Down the long marble hallway, soft footsteps echoed. The new maid, Mariam, carried a basket of freshly folded laundry. She had only been working in the mansion for 3 weeks. A quiet woman in her early 30s, with gentle eyes and a calm presence. Unlike the other staff, she didn't rush through her duties or avoid eye contact with the family. There was something observant about her, something thoughtful. As Mariam passed Zara's room, she heard soft humming from inside. She paused. The door was slightly open. Zara sat on the floor, surrounded by wooden blocks. Her small fingers moved confidently, stacking them one by one into a neat tower. Mariam watched silently. Something felt off. Not wrong, just unexpected. Most blind children, Mariam had known, moved cautiously, hands extended, exploring slowly. But Zara's movements were precise, deliberate. She wasn't feeling around randomly. She was placing each block exactly where it needed to be. The tower grew taller. Then, suddenly, Zara tilted her head, smiled, and reached out just in time to catch a block before it fell. Maryam single quotes as breath caught. "How did you know?" she whispered before she could stop herself. Zara flinched. Her smile vanished. She turned her face toward the sound of Mariam's voice. I just guessed," she said softly. Maryam didn't respond right away. She had worked in many homes before this one. Rich homes, poor homes, and she had seen many children. Something about this felt different. "That was a very good guess," Mariam said gently. "You're very smart." Zara relaxed a little. "Thank you," she said. Maryam left the room, but her mind stayed behind. All evening, as she cleaned and cooked and moved quietly through the mansion, she kept thinking about Zara's hands. The way she caught that block, the way she stacked them without hesitation. That night, Mariam lay awake in her small staff room, staring at the ceiling. Doubt crept into her thoughts, then grew louder. What if the child wasn't completely blind? What if something had been missed? The next day, Mariam volunteered to help Zara with her daily routine. She brushed her hair, helped her dress, and guided her to the breakfast table. Arman sat at the head, scrolling through his phone, barely glancing up. "Good morning, sir," Mariam said politely. "Morning," Arman replied without looking. Zara sat quietly, hands folded. Mariam placed a glass of juice in front of her. "Zara," Mariam said softly, "can you pass me the spoon?" Zara hesitated for a fraction of a second. Then her hand moved. She reached forward, slightly to the left, and picked up the spoon. Arman froze. He looked up sharply. "What did you just say?" Mariam's heart pounded. "I asked her to pass me the spoon, sir." "Zara," Arman said slowly, his voice tense. "How did you know where the spoon was?" The room fell silent. Zara single quotes as fingers tightened around the spoon. Her lower lip trembled. I felt it," she said quietly. But Arman stood up so fast his chair scraped loudly against the floor. "Don't lie," he snapped, then stopped himself, closing his eyes. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean that." "But Zara, you don't need to pretend." Mariam spoke before she could lose her courage. "Sir," with respect. She didn't feel around. She reached directly for it. Arman stared at her. "What are you suggesting?" Mariam swallowed. "I'm not a doctor, sir, but I think your daughter might be able to see, at least a little." The words hung in the air like a thunderclap. "That's impossible," Arman said sharply. "We've had countless tests, specialists. You think you know better than all of them?" Mariam lowered her gaze. "No, sir, but sometimes mistakes happen." Sometimes children learn to hide things. Zara began to cry. Armand looked at his daughter, really looked at her, and saw fear in her face. Fear, not confusion. Fear of being discovered, Zara, he said softly now, kneeling in front of her. Look at me. She shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'm sorry, Baba. I didn't want you to be angry. His chest tightened. Angry about what? She hesitated, then whispered, about me seeing. The world seemed to stop. Armand's ears rang. What did you say? Zara's voice was barely audible. I can see a little shapes, light, colors sometimes. But when I told Mama before, she cried so much. And the doctor said I was blind. So I thought, maybe I wasn't supposed to see. Maybe it was bad. Armand felt like the ground had vanished beneath him. How long? He asked hoarsely. Since I was little, Zara said. It was blurry before, but it's getting better. Mariam watched silently as Armand's strong, confident posture collapsed. He pulled his daughter into his arms, holding her tightly, as if afraid she might disappear. I'm not angry, he whispered, his voice breaking. I'm so sorry. That day changed everything. Within a week, Armand arranged new medical tests. Not with the same doctors, not with the same assumptions. This time, he demanded fresh eyes, fresh minds. The results were shocking. Zara had never been completely blind. A rare condition had severely impaired her vision as an infant, but there was potential for improvement. Potential that had been overlooked, dismissed, buried under one early diagnosis. With proper treatment, therapy, and surgery, her vision could improve significantly. Armand sat in the doctor's office, his hands trembling. So all this time, she could see, partially, the doctor said, and with time, much more. Guilt crushed him. Memories flooded back. Every time he had spoken about Zara as if she were fragile, broken. Every time he had made decisions for her without asking what she wanted. Every time he had emotionally distanced himself because her blindness reminded him of his own helplessness. He returned home that evening, a different man. Zara was in the garden with Mariam, sitting on the grass. When she saw Armand approaching, she stood up, squinting. Baba, she said uncertainly. He smiled through tears. Yes, my brave girl, it's me. She tilted her head. You looked shiny. He laughed softly. That's because I'm crying. From that day on, Armand became present, truly present. He read to Zara, not because she couldn't see, but because she loved stories. He took her to the park. He let her try things, fail, succeed. He listened. Maryam remained in the household, no longer just a maid, but a quiet guardian angel who had seen what others refused to question. Months passed. Treatments began. Glasses, therapy, small victories. Zara's world slowly filled with clarity. Colors sharpened. Faces became familiar. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Zara sat beside her father on the balcony. Baba, she said, did you know the sky can be pink and orange at the same time? Armand smiled, his heart full. I do now. She turned to him, her eyes meeting his clearly for the first time. You're my favorite color. He laughed, then cried, then held her close. Sometimes, the greatest truths aren't discovered by experts or wealth or power, but by someone who simply pays attention. And that's the end of today's story. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.